Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, we're also going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on the major pump that we saw happen in Bitcoin yesterday as a result of the price action we saw in Tether. Tether was trading around 99 cents a little over 48 hours ago, and it ran all the way down to around 93 cents, and by doing so, we saw a major pump in Bitcoin, presumably from people exiting Tether and putting their money back into Bitcoin. We saw a major pump here, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing what the potential ramifications and implications of this pump are, and I'm also going to be talking about why this may be the beginning of a new major rally. We're going to be diving into all of that and more in today's video, so without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading around $6,460 on the Coinbase chart. Now, if you guys have watched previous videos on the channel, you may have known that I normally use the Bitfinex chart. The reason I'm not using the Bitfinex chart is because there's about a $300 discrepancy in between Coinbase and Bitfinex, and Coinbase actually trades over actual US dollars. Bitfinex trades over US dollar tether. So Bitcoin on Bitfinex is still kind of in this little pseudo manipulated state because of tether. So we're going to be using Coinbase for the time being, as it's a more conservative chart to do our technical analysis on, and hopefully our predictions will be more accurate by using it. One of the first things that I want to talk about is the hourly chart here on Coinbase, because as we can see on Coinbase's chart, Bitcoin was trading around here, just kind of tootling along down here at $6,200, right above this uptrend of support that luckily we did get support. I'll talk about that one in a second. But we saw Bitcoin have a major pump here, and like I said, most of this was likely due to tether. And when it pumped up here, we pumped all the way to $6,800. And if we come out here to the 4-hour chart, what we're going to see is that $6,800, the fact that Bitcoin went that high on the Coinbase chart is very, very intriguing, because not only did we break the long-term downtrend of resistance that Bitcoin has been under for 8 months plus, that's a very, very important thing. We also came up here and tested resistance at $6,800, and $6,800 has been actually a pretty significant level of resistance and support for the last couple of months. We saw Bitcoin have a neckline of an inverse head and shoulders pattern over here, where we saw the shoulder, head, shoulder with a $6,800 neckline. We saw some trading around it right here, which only shows up really on the hourly chart. There was some very major trading right there for a little while. We saw some Bitcoin have a little bit of a bounce here and some resistance back over here, and more recently we've seen a couple levels of resistance there. So it's interesting that Bitcoin ran to $6,800 on the Coinbase chart. Now, of course, on the Bitfinex chart, we saw Bitcoin run all the way to $7,800. So depending on what chart you're looking at right now, you're going to get different technical analysis. That's why we're using the Coinbase chart, because it's more conservative, and I think it's going to be more accurate for what we're trying to get to in today's video. Anyway, I do want to get on to the rest of the cryptocurrency, the rest of the Bitcoin technical analysis, but I do want to go ahead and do a short little crypto market recap, because there are some things that we want to discuss here. One thing that I very much want to discuss is this right here, because the way that CoinMarketCap calculates Bitcoin's price, because as you can see, Bitcoin's price on CoinMarketCap is being listed as just over $6,600, while on Coinbase it's $6,460, and on Bitfinex it's $6,766. You may be wondering, what is the actual price? Well, technically all three of them are the actual price, but where this price action comes from is if you come in here and you click Bitcoin and you scroll down and you click markets, you're going to be able to see the price of Bitcoin on all different markets. And what this is basically just a weighted aggregate of these different price actions to get the overall average price action of Bitcoin across all exchanges. So we can see on BitMEX, Bitcoin is trading around $6,455. On Binance, it's trading around $6,600. On Bitfinex, we're seeing Bitcoin trade around $6,766, etc., etc., etc. So this is kind of the amalgamated price action of Bitcoin across all exchanges. If you're looking for what Bitcoin is trading at across all exchanges, this would be the number you'd want to use. Like I said, we're using Coinbase because it's it's more conservative, but it's very important that we use this $6,600 figure also, because if Bitcoin is currently trading above $6,600, that means Bitcoin is trading up here. That means Bitcoin is trading right there. And if Bitcoin is trading right there, well, that means that Bitcoin, on average, across all exchanges, is above the long-term descending triangle pattern. So even though it's not above the long-term descending triangle pattern on Coinbase, and even though it's above the long-term descending triangle pattern, partially because of manipulation and some just weird things going on with Tether that, like I said, we got into in yesterday's video, even though that is because of a less than organic rally that we saw in the last 48 hours, even though that happened, it still happened. The fact of the matter is, even though that may not have happened for the most savory reason, even though that may not have happened for the most organic reason, maybe it wasn't the most organic rally, the fact of the matter is Bitcoin across all exchanges is over $6,600 just by a little hair. And that is very, very significant, because that means on average, Bitcoin is above this long-term descending triangle pattern. Now, I've seen a lot of people ask before, well, how can Bitcoin be trading at different price actions on Coinbase and on Bitfinex and across the other cryptocurrency markets? Why were there so many different prices here? I want to delve into that a little bit before we get on with the rest of the technical analysis, actually, because the way that that basically works is each of these markets, Coinbase, Bitfinex, OKX, all these other markets, BitMEX, they are all individual markets, and they don't actually have a specific way that they interact with each other. The only reason that these markets are really kept in check with each other is because you have something called arbitrage, and essentially what arbitrage is buying Bitcoin or whatever asset you're using on one exchange at a low price and then moving it to another one and selling it at a higher price. So let's say you were to hypothetically buy Bitcoin at $6,468 here on Coinbase and move it over to Bitfinex and sell it at $6,764. Well, you just made 2 or 3%. Do that 100 times and you're going to make a bunch of money, and that arbitrage is what keeps the markets in check. And you do have bots that are doing this. A good example of this was something called the Kimchi Premium a while back, before Korea made it so that you had to be a Korean citizen to trade on cryptocurrency exchanges in Korea. You saw a lot of people buying Bitcoin in America and selling it over there because Bitcoin is trading at about 10% more, and that was a big debacle earlier on in the year. I'm not going to get into that, but I just wanted to go ahead and point that out. That's how these markets are normally kept in check. Right now, they're all thrown out of whack because they're trading over different things. They're not all trading over exactly Bitcoin over US dollars. Some of them are trading over US dollars. Some of them are trading over Tether, and Tether is the culprit here. Anyway, a little bit of a rant, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew how that worked because I have seen a lot of people confused about that, and this was a good example to use that in. Anyway, Bitcoin does have a pretty nice volume right now. We saw Bitcoin's volume go all the way down to around $3 billion per day a little while ago. Not that long ago, right when we were trading around here, Bitcoin's volume was not doing very well. Currently, Bitcoin's volume is doing quite a bit better, up here around $4.4 billion. Definitely better than what we've seen recently on this rally. About 24 hours before I'm recording this video, we saw Bitcoin's volume around around $6.5 billion. Definitely a very good day for volume, and actually a pretty good day for price action. If we sort by change over the last 24 hours here, we're going to see that we do see 3 double-digit gainers in Tezos, Digix DAO, and Mo Go. And if we zoom down the chart here, we're going to see the market is mostly split. We don't have any double-digit losers. Overall, the cryptocurrency markets are doing rather healthily, actually, because we've seen Bitcoin pump in a major way. Despite it not being the most organic pump, I'm going to take what I can get right now because we are trying to get Bitcoin to kick off a new bull run and hopefully at least kick off a new rally. So it is nice to see that we've seen some major price action movement, or some major price movement on Bitcoin. Anyway, there's a couple of different technicals I also want to discuss here. If we come in here to the hourly chart on Coinbase, what we're going to see is that Bitcoin did have this major pump and it's pulled back down and it's making this uptrend right here. And this is a very interesting uptrend because this uptrend is driving us into this long-term downtrend of resistance right now. And one thing I want to point out is that Bitcoin on just about every other exchange, excluding BitMEX at the moment, is above this long-term descending triangle pattern. On Coinbase, it's not. So if Coinbase can get above this long-term descending triangle pattern, that's going to be very, very good for the cryptocurrency market because Coinbase is like the one guy in the group who's saying, no, I don't want to go do something fun. I just want to sit at home and play video games. They're the one holding us back. We need Coinbase to get above this long-term descending triangle pattern, this long-term descending triangle pattern's downtrend of resistance so that we can actually properly break bullish out of it. And it looks like that may be what's about to happen because we have an uptrend driving us up here. And over the next couple of hours, we're on the hourly chart. Within the next couple of hours, we're going to see if Coinbase's Bitcoin is going to break bullish or if it's going to break bearish. And if it breaks bullish, I think that's a very, very big deal, actually. Let's go out here to the daily chart and discuss what implications that may have for Bitcoin. One thing I want to point out is that Bitcoin looks like it's probably going to be getting above this long-term downtrend of resistance. And one of the reasons that it looks like that is because it's already broken it. I talked about in many videos in the past, and I talk about this in a video in the course. I talk about when you see a downtrend of resistance, an uptrend of resistance, an uptrend of support, downtrend of support, a level of support or resistance, whatever it is, when you see a market go up and test it over and over and over and over again, it tends to get weaker. And when you see a massive wick run straight through it, it tends to weaken it as well. And that's what we've seen here because Bitcoin ran all the way up to $6,800 and weakened this downtrend of resistance, making it much easier for us to get through it. It's just basically you're just spitting in the face of this long-term downtrend of resistance and kind of saying, well, you're not as strong as you think you are because we already got through you once, we can get through you a second time, and that's what looks like it's going to happen here. So let's go ahead and discuss what happens if that happens, because that would be a major piece of price action movement. Indeed, that could be the beginning of a new bull run, at least an early warning sign of one. I wouldn't say that that confirms one by any stretch of the imagination, but it may be an early warning sign of a new bull run. What we're going to see here is if Bitcoin does break out of this, I could very easily see Bitcoin coming straight back up here to this 100 daily simple moving average. That's this moving average right here, which we saw Bitcoin kind of come up here and test a little bit recently up here right around $6,800. That was about where we got resistance at. We also got resistance on the double resistance level of $6,800 and this 100 daily simple moving average. I think the first thing that we would do is be moving up towards this over the next couple of days, and that would actually coincide pretty well with a bullish MACD cross. We can see a bullish MACD cross is coming. It looks like it's just about inevitable right now. It looks like like within the next 48 hours or so, right around here, we're going to see a bullish MACD cross on the daily chart, and that's a very big deal because bullish MACD crosses on the daily chart don't happen that often. You don't get many you don't get many fake signals from them. You don't get many false signals from a bullish MACD cross on the daily chart for Bitcoin. That would be a very good thing to see, and that also, interestingly enough, comes along with bullish Heikin-Ashi. This is a very interesting thing. I have an entire video on the course dedicated to this, talking about Heikin-Ashi, and when you see Heikin-Ashi come in here, and you see green Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, and a couple days later you see a bullish cross on the MACD, that's a very good way to determine that a new rally is forming. And what we've seen here in the last 48 hours is that we've seen Heikin-Ashi turn green. We see no wick down here at the bottom. Like I said, I'm not going to get too in-depth with Heikin-Ashi right now. I don't have time. But the point is, Heikin-Ashi is looking very bullish, and this right here, this green on Heikin-Ashi, in collaboration with this bullish MACD cross that is coming, is almost always the beginning of a new rally. If we can go back and I can prove that. If we come back over here, we see right over here, we saw bullish MACD cross. Right over here, we saw bullish MACD cross. Right down here, we saw green, new rally. Then we came back down, saw green, and then we bounced off of, we had the MACD line come down and bounce off the signal line. That was the indication of a new rally. Typically, when you see these kind of things in Bitcoin, these are the beginning of new rallies. And considering it already looks like we're going to be getting above this long-term downtrend resistance, and considering Heikin-Ashi and MACD are coming together to say that we're entering a new rally, I do believe that we're going to be getting above it. And it's a very significant thing if we do get above this, guys. We've tried to get above it many times this year to no avail so far. If we get above it, that is an early warning sign of the new bull run. And let me tell you what we need to do to start a new bull run. I'll go ahead and be brief on this because I have discussed this before. Let's go back out to normal candlesticks. What I want to see happen for a new bull run to start is for Bitcoin to get above this 200 daily simple moving average and above this level of resistance at $7,400. Get above that and set a higher low. I want Bitcoin to come up here, set a higher low, and continue. That would be the beginning of a new bull run, in my opinion, or at least the beginning of a new bull run, which would hopefully sustain from there. But anyway, guys, tell me in the comment section down below what you think is going to happen here. Do you think Bitcoin is going to break this long-term downtrend of resistance? Do you think Bitcoin is actually going to be entering a new rally after it does? And what do you think the target is? I think Bitcoin is going to go to at least that 100 daily simple moving average right here. And at worst, if you want to say at worst for the shorters, Bitcoin could very easily come all the way up here to this 200 daily simple moving average. What do I think the likelihood of this is? I think it's more than likely that we're going to break this long-term downtrend resistance. Can we get below it? Absolutely. But I think it's most likely that we're going to be getting above it at this point, like a 70 or 80% chance, simply because we're above it on so many other exchanges, and the average price of Bitcoin is above it as well. I think Coinbase is going to be the last straw and the last domino to fall in this new rally that for Bitcoin that is starting. But anyway, guys, that's basically going to do it for this video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.